Mike, I've seen you teach now for a bunch of years, and you're a systems guy. When it comes to new agents struggle the most because they don't know where the center is. They don't have a structure. They don't have a process. How important is system and a structure to new agents when they're getting started and for long-term success in sales?
Systems are everything. You know, when we're teaching people how to create trust through the use of authority and empathy, we teach the 3 Ps.
What's the 3 Ps?
If you can learn the 3 Ps and you can focus on them and really master them, sales is going to become second nature for you.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Life Insurance Academy podcast. And as you can see, we are not in our normal set today. We are not in our studio in Louisville, Kentucky. We are at a remote location coming to you live from the home of the 8% Nation Wealth Conference in Springfield, Missouri. And we are here with the team. Chris, Zach, and I are here. We're going to be speaking. We're doing some workshops and breakouts at the event. And for those of you that are here, I'm sure I'm going to run into some of you. But while I was here in town, we found out about some of the other people, some of the other contributors that are going to be here. And I found out that our guest today was going to be at this event. And we did not want to miss on an opportunity to have him join us for this special opportunity and this special episode. So help me welcome none other than Mr. Michael Hall from Trustworthy Financial from Indianapolis, Indiana. Mike, welcome to the podcast, man.
Thanks, man.
Dude, this has been a long time in the coming, right?
I know, yeah.
I know. How long have we known each other, you and I?
Man, 13 years now. Just
13 years, and I've never had him on the podcast. What is wrong with me? Just shoot me, man. Just shoot me.
Saving it for later.
I know. Dude, it's so cool to have you here. It's been fun and exciting to watch your journey. We go way back. We met years ago when we were selling for one primary carrier, essentially, when we were writing a lot of business together with Monumental Life. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
We wrote a lot of business with Monumental Life. They kind of went away. They got absorbed into the Transamerica brand. But anyway, that's how you and I got connected. We've done some fun trips together. Been around some places, had toes in sands together.
Smoked one of my first cigars with you.
There you go.
Bought watches together.
Where was that? Where did we smoke that? Was that on a beach in?
We were standing in the water in Mexico. I think, on the cruise, yeah.
No,
with the guys from Transamerica.
We were standing in the water in Mexico, I think. Was that with? Was that at the Ritz-Carlton?
It might have been.
I think that was at the Ritz-Carlton. That was
kind of cool. Like we've been on a couple of different trips together.
I know, man. So isn't it fun what the insurance business can do for you? Michael, you've been in the business. Your family's in the business with you. Your dad works with you. You've got some longtime friends that work with you. You're tearing it up. You're in a place that I love, Indianapolis area. It's fantastic. Tell me about Trustworthy Financial, first of all, and a little bit about your backstory, just so we can bring people up to speed. Just 2 to 3 minutes on your backstory, because you got an incredible story, man. Mm-hmm. For someone who went through what you went through and come through all that, and now be in a business where you're giving hope to other people in this business, I want to get your name out there so people know who Mike Hall and Trustworthy is.
Well, first of all, never say never, because when I was growing up, my dad was a pastor, and I got to see how he served people and what he did, and I didn't want that. I'm an introvert. I've always struggled with self-confidence, but I was a fireman, lost my job because of some lung issues I got when I was in Iraq with the Marines, and I said I would never do sales or public speaking. Now I do both of them. And specifically in sales, I said I would never do insurance sales. I got involved in network marketing, started reading books, changed the way I thought. I saw what insurance was not, more so than what it was.
Yeah.
Fell in love with the fact that we were helping people. And I can't believe that journey started 13 years ago. And so really what got me involved was the fact that I had a system-driven business that I could focus on, so I didn't have to worry about the sales aspect, but I could build a business. And what caught my attention, Roger, was that they said if I was just teachable and willing to outwork everybody else, I could have a shot at winning. And I thought, hey, there's not much I can do, but I can learn and I can work.
You jumped into this with no experience, right, in sales,
Zero, yeah.
right? And so you kind of plugged into this system, and you've kind of come through a lot of different. You were doing mortgage protection sales quite heavily. You've done debt free for life, which basically is using IULs, right? You were using IULs or whole life?
Whole life, yes.
Whole life products, whole life products. Sorry, and showing people how to leverage whole life to essentially get out of debt and stay out of debt. And I know you still do that at a pretty high level, and you've helped a lot of people in that space. But you're growing and scaling your business now through simple telesales process.
That's right.
Right? And man, we got a cool opportunity. And one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on here is because we just got finished. In fact, I think the podcast episode that we dropped just a week or two ago with Chris and Zach, they were talking about just coming off of this boot camp in Indianapolis, this telesales boot camp. And they were talking about some of the questions that we need to ask every client on the phone. And they referenced that boot camp. And actually, one of the guys that's on your team who was just getting started, Nashia Jones.
Yeah.
I'll give you a shout out, Nashia. So now you can comment on this video as well. He just commented on that video today. I saw his comment show up.
That's right.
And Nashai was in that boot camp as a brand new agent. You were the host of that boot camp. We came in to work with you. Our LIA team came into Indy. We had 20, 25 new people in the room. We did a setup evening to get everyone acclimated. And then for the next day and a half, essentially I think we started at about 9 a.m. or so, and we rolled straight through to about 8:30 the first night. And then the next day we started about 11 and rolled through right till about 7:30 or 8 the next day. And we had, I believe, 19 out of 22 agents, something like that wrote business.
Yeah, it was very incredible.
And they all got on the board, some of them for the very first time. And Nashia Jones, one of the guys that you had just basically said, hey, there's a home here and we can coach and help you. He was in that boot camp and shared some pretty powerful comments on our YouTube channel. So, like, again, shout out to Nashia. But I know he came in, and you're inviting people in now into this environment, and you're helping them and coaching them, and you work with us at Life Insurance Academy to do that. Tell me about what that experience is like for new agents coming in, and maybe share a little of Nashia's results.
You know what? It's crazy. I've been doing this for 13 years now, and I've never ran a training that way before. And, I'm used to running a training where you come in, you sit down, you get lectured, and then you go home, you take your notes, and you figure out how to apply it. And so we've done things
style.
Right, the classroom style. Now we're doing it differently. Like, we're getting people in the room, we're getting them on the phone, and actually having them calling clients and helping them right there on the spot. That way we can make tweaks to what they're doing. And so we had 24 people in the room there, and Nashia was one of them. The young man's got an incredible story. Both of his parents died when he was just very young. He was raised by his grandmother. She passed away when he was 16 years old. And a lot of people would use that as an excuse to not have success. And he's used that as an excuse to have success. And so when most people would have excuses, he's taken action. But he came in, I'll tell you, working up to this boot camp, he's working two other jobs to prepare for this. He was working Amazon in the warehouse and also front desk at a hotel, and came in ready to go, prepared. He was able to help 4 families in the training for just over like $3,300 in premium.
Yeah.
The very next day, Roger, he was in my office dialing while other people were traveling home, wrote 2 more applications for over $3,000. He's sitting in my office right now as we record this podcast, dialing and helping people. We had another young guy.
What did he end up at for the week with just that 1 week?
6 apps for $6,600.
$6,600.
Yeah.
And how long has he been
never
doing
done
this?
this before.
Never done this before. How old is he?
25 years old.
25 years old.
25 years old.
Changing his life.
Changing his life.
And you extended that opportunity.
But he did the work.
He's
committed and he did the work. And that's what drives me to do this is seeing someone have the light come on and say, okay, so you're telling me I've got a shot.
That's right. That's right. You said you had another person that attended.
Yeah, so another standout, we had a guy named David Lack. Again, David's got several years experience in the industry, but has not done this before, came in, and in those 2.5 days, he was able to help 6 people for $7,500 in premium, and he's fired up. He's fired up. He's building the team. I just talked to a guy for him today that he's looking to bring on board to help him with it. So We're loving the telesales, Roger. Here's the thing. You said at the beginning, so I started out doing final expense face-to-face. That's what we both started doing.
Yes, correct.
Traveling at a distance, 7, 8, 9 hours away, knocking on doors with these little cards that people sent in and visiting with them right then and there.
And that still works, by the way.
It does.
Yeah, it still works.
Great.
But you got to be prepared to go on the road a little bit for that.
Well, and here was the downside of it. The downside was I was limited to the amount of people I could get in front of.
Correct.
I'm showing up without appointments. I've got to catch them at home. I got to get in.
Yep.
So the thing I love about what we're doing now is if somebody's not home, I can just get to the next person. Right. So I went from final expense to mortgage protection. But when you look at mortgage protection, it's an incredible industry, but it is affected by the economy. It is affected by the mortgage market. And so you look at what's going on right now with the housing market. People are refinancing their houses or they're pulling out lines of credit because they need money.
Correct.
What I love about what we're doing now in the final expense place, there's 10,500 people a day being born for the next several decades. And guess what? They're all going to pass away. And they've got family that loves them, and they want to be able to honor and celebrate their life with dignity, so that they can move on. And so, as far as a business practice goes, it's recession proof.
Yeah,
it's economy proof.
That's right.
And we're able to make a real difference in people. When I was a fireman, I had a crystal ball. Well, I didn't have a crystal ball. I showed up at people's worst day. Today, I've got a crystal ball. We know that worst day is going to come, but we get to make that day not be as hard for that family because of how we get to love on people. It's pretty incredible.
David, the gentleman you spoke about in the boot camp that attended, Chris and our team and we were driving back home to Louisville late on Wednesday night. We always have fun at these events, right? We bring in all the food. We take care of all the deal. Like most people don't even know what to expect. And there's people flying in from all over the country. Some people drove in a few hours and some people were local. But we hold these events. And so we don't go off site. We don't stop for lunch and take an hour lunch and debrief. We don't stop for dinner. You know what I mean? We bring in the food and people can kind of graze and keep moving. And so for 2 days, 2.5 days, that we were rolling, because that first day is kind of a setup with technology and the framework of selling and a lot of what you would call classroom style. And then we got into the actual dialing the next morning. David calls us, right? He calls us up and he said, hey, I wanted to call you. I know you'd be driving home. And first of all, thank you for giving so much of your time. We know you're not going to get home till midnight tonight because we had full days on Thursday and Friday back in Louisville. And he said, I just want to say I've never experienced anything like that before in my life, in a collaborative learning environment where everybody is seen as a person, where everybody's is seen as an opportunity to help someone change their life. And you guys are sitting with us. You guys are coaching us. You're listening in on the calls. You're helping us adjust some of the language we have. You're helping us understand some frameworks in selling because that's really what it's all about. And he said, I've never experienced such a collaborative learning environment where people are valued and you're taught ethical principles in selling so that you can actually uncover people's real needs and meet their needs instead of just trying to close more or buy more leads or make more calls. Like he said, I've been in plenty of those trainings, like buy more leads, do more work, make more calls. Yes to all of those. Yes to all of those. But if that's your only focus, you're never really focusing on uncovering the real need of people and becoming that advisor. And he said, I've never experienced anything like this where people truly care about the client, about you, and you're in an environment where you're learning from each other in a team. He said, the only other environment that I've learned from about that was when I was in the military, when I went through that years ago in the military. And we bonded as a team because we were learning together. We were growing together. We earned mutual respect for each other. And he said, I just experienced that again for the first time. He said, it wasn't so hardcore, but he said, I did learn it, and I wanted to thank you for it. So it was just really cool to get that kind of feedback. Mike, for you, what are some of the secrets? Because I know, and I wouldn't even say secrets. For you, what are some of the keys to being successful in selling life insurance? And we can even dial it in more specifically because I know you've sold broadly on Zoom, face-to-face, and now telesales for those people who are looking for an opportunity to work from home. What are some of the keys to being effective in sales? I know you have approaches. I know that there's people that do it all kinds of different ways, but there's got to be some fundamentals that you kind of go to and lean on, and maybe even some stuff that we've talked about too in our own workshops together and that boot camp.
Yeah, well, there's this one thing. If you really focus on it, it'll give you some mileage, and that's the 3 Ps. you can focus on people, products, and processes.
What does that mean?
Well, you got to focus on the people. You got to know the market that you're serving, right? And so what we're serving right now are baby boomers, people that are turning age 65. And then the product, what is it that you're helping them with? We're helping people be able to bury their family members with either cremation or burial services. And then you got to have a system in place. You got to have a system that people can follow. When I got involved in the business, the hardest thing for me was having to know what to do. But if I could put the pressure on the system, not on myself, and I could just do the work, it's all going to fall in line. And so I love what we're doing with these trainings, right? Like we get people in this structured environment. And I love what you said. You know, we're providing the food, we're providing the equipment. All they have to do is come in and learn. And so people, product, and processes.
People, product, and process. This is something that I've taught, and believe in myself. When it comes to process, and I'm actually going through a series right now on our coaching calls. We have membership in the Life Insurance Academy. People sign up to be a part of our coaching and courses program. We have an all-access courses and coaching, so they get all of our course content, plus they get to join us each Thursday live in our live coaching sessions. And I'm walking through right now this idea of framework or structure or process. And I find this is where most people fail. If you're a life insurance agent right now and you're trying to find your way, or you're coming into the business, or you're new and you've had some success, but it's been limited, or it's up and down, or you get on a roll for a couple of weeks and then you kind of fall off and you get into a bit of a slump. Oftentimes it's because you don't have a structured process yourself. So you kind of get lucky with a few leads, or a few clients are easy to sell, and then they give you their spouse and then someone else in their family, and I got a great week, but you still haven't really gotten into a position where you're comfortable knowing that you can put this on repeat week after week after week after week. And so if you're a new agent today, or you're an agent that has gone through maybe some success, but now you're struggling again, like I want you to hear this. If you develop a solid process, Mike, I've seen you do this. If you develop a solid process, a structure that people can go back to and put on repeat. I like to call it like guardrails, or even like tracks for a train. Like, that train is going from destination A to B, but you know exactly how that train's going to get there because there's tracks to run on, right? There's a road that goes from Louisville to Springfield. I know because we took it yesterday. We got stuck in this big rainstorm, but we had to take the road, right? And the easiest road is the most direct one. That's the widest. And you follow the Waze or your Google Maps and it takes you right there. When agents get off and they don't get off a track, or they don't have a solid system, they meander and then they don't know where to find center again. How important do you feel that is for new agents, and how did you even see that implemented, and how are you seeing it implemented in these boot camps and in your recruiting process and in your training?
Well, that helps people stay on track, right? The framework, the process. It's a script, if you will, is to help you, keep you from saying or doing too much. So through this framework, we teach agents, one, how to build belief. How to build belief in what they're doing and who they are, how to create trust, right? And we understand that trust is created through empathy, through creating empathy and authority. So we're going to build trust, we're going to create belief, we're going to build trust, we're going to address the stakes, who it is that we're helping, and then we're going to present some options, and we're going to present a solution. And so when we walk them through that framework and we help them understand the psychology of the sale, it's easier to teach them how to work through that process with the client. Yeah,
these are really this principle-based selling system that we've been teaching for years, and the idea of uncovering the stakes. I'd like to land there for a minute because I've seen you do this very, very well. Agents, and I actually saw you on the phones this past week, so it was kind of cool for me to listen in to you and your process. But oftentimes agents feel like their goal is to get through a script so they can get to the quotes.
Yeah.
Right? Tell me what breaks down when that's the goal. Tell me what breaks down and why that goes sideways so often.
Well, first of all, people want to have the ability to buy. They don't want to be sold.
Yes.
And when you're telling someone something, you're selling them. They're hearing it with their outer ear. And so they're not taking ownership of it. But when we can ask detailed questions and we can draw that out of them, then they're speaking it and they're hearing it with their inner ear and they're taking ownership over that and they're making the decision, first of all. So the first thing is we want to identify the stakes. Mm-hmm. We want to address the stakes, and then we want to raise the stakes.
Yes.
And part of how we're doing that is we're asking them, why is this so important to you? And how's that going to make you feel?
And a lot of agents don't do that, man.
No.
They don't do that. They're not asking why that's important. I saw you do that on the phone, and I know we saw a lot of the team members who really got it to slow down in their presentation right there. They may be going through some information, and then we see them slow down as they get into this. I know you saw Nashai and
right.
David and others actually do it. But when we get into that part for you, like what does that sound like, I guess, with the client on the phone? You got an agent, right? They're trying to move through their script. They're reading a script for the first time, a lot of them, right? And they're nervous, right?
That's right.
They're reading this. And then all of a sudden, it's got some key questions to ask, right, in the scripting. What does that sound like? What do some of those questions sound like, and why are they important? So now I'm asking you, what do some of those questions sound like in that discovery process, and why are they important, so important to ask to eliminate objections on the back end? You know where I'm going with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of the questions are we need to know, you're talking about the stakes. We need to know who it is that we're looking to protect with this. Why is it that we're even wanting to do this? And what effect is that going to have on that person? What result is that going to be? One of the things that I think that we have a problem with is with newer agents is listening. I think people are so focused, like you're saying, on getting through the script and getting to the end and getting the quotes that they're not hearing what the client is saying. Mm-hmm. And when you can listen to what they say and you can regurgitate that back to them, it's going to be easier for them to hear it. But who is it that we're looking to protect with this? If you were to leave the planet today, first of all, who is that person that's going to be affected? What is their name, and what's that look like for them right now? Like Roger, you're not going to make it home today. What's that look like for Rose? How is she going to be able to bury you? And a lot of times I hear, well, we'll figure it out. And it's like, well, figure it out. You just died. She can't call you and ask you, do you have any life insurance? If so, does she know that you have it? Does she know where it is? Does she know what it's gonna accomplish? Like, what is that going to do for her? How is she going to move forward? How is she going to, so many times, a lot of people say, well, my kids I don't want to do anything. I just donate my body to medical science or something like that. The reality of it is, Roger, when you pass away, Rose isn't going to do what you want. Neither are your kids. They're going to do what they want to do to be able to honor you. Yeah. And so when we can have that conversation, we can figure out what is it that you really want? How do you want your family to do that? How do you want them to be left? And so when we can address this up front and take care of it up ahead of time, it just makes things so much easier on the back end for them.
That question that can literally elicit a tie down, elicit a response from the client. I love what you said about when clients say the thing that they really need, they're listening to it with their inner ear, you said?
Yeah, that's right.
Their inner ear versus their outer ear. They're speaking it, right? So they're hearing it first to their own ears. And it may have been the first time they've ever verbalized that out loud to another human being. Right? And you are the one that gets to have that conversation with them.
What an honor.
Like how special. Yeah, that's an honor. So that's not like close hard, be the top closer, the closers click. That's a different mentality, man. That's a different mentality that we're teaching here. And I love that we're aligned on that because I believe sales is simply persuasion.
That's right.
And persuasion is simply moving someone to your point of view, to a position that you hold high value in. If you really wanted to go somewhere with me for dinner tonight, like if we were to decide to go for dinner, if you really wanted to go to X place, like you're going to speak about how good this restaurant is and how excited I'm going to be there and what you want to show me and this dish on the menu, and you're going to talk about it, right? And I'm either going to be influenced to go where you want to go, or I'm going to influence you to go where I want to go, right? One of us is going to win out.
That's right.
That is in itself persuasion, right? Now, is that manipulation? No. It doesn't have to be. Can persuasion be manipulation?
Sure.
Yes, when it's used for the wrong purposes. So in and of itself, persuasion is simply moving someone to your position. I believe persuasion is a beautiful thing because I believe it can be used for good. And I've stated many times on our podcast that I believe persuasion and sales when it's done properly, ethical selling is truly persuasion that moves people to a better place. A better place. What does that look like? I mean, if you need to buy a widget and you can help them solve the problem, get the widget that solves the problem, right? People don't need a drill when they come into the store. They need a hole, right? So you're helping them figure out what kind of hole they need, and so if you're that person, you're helping them solve that problem. Now, in most cases, that's not a life-changing, thing.
Right.
The hole in the right door, or the right size hole in the door, so they can put this doorknob on. But in this case, we're talking about something that's emotional. We're talking about something it's
a big deal.
That it's the last gift that you're giving somebody because they get to utilize it when you're no longer there in most cases, unless it has living benefits as a mortgage protection plan or something like that. And so we're having these conversations with people and we're uncovering the things. And when we can get that client, man, to say the thing that they need, right, now becomes something that they...
Well, and the verbalized need becomes a want, right? And people buy what they want.
They buy what they want.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so we're not creating the need. We're just uncovering it.
Yeah. Mike, tell me when you think about new agents and the opportunity we have for an agent to change their life, and you're talking to them about this business, are you talking about them just about how much money they can make or how they can change their life?
No, I'm talking about how they can change their life. I'm talking about freedom.
I know that. I mean, this is why I was asking the question, right?
Yeah, it's somebody like me growing up, my dad was a pastor. No one ever taught him how money worked. He barely got out of high school. He made it to college, but never graduated. And I remember getting to high school and seeing everybody that knew what they wanted to do with their life, that knew the direction they were going to go. And I just remember thinking that God didn't give me any abilities. He didn't give me any special skills. I don't have a skill set or a talent, but I've always loved people. I've always wanted to be a fireman. I never wanted to be in the military. I lost a bet and joined the Marines, but I loved it while I was there. And I've got to see my dad serve people. I loved serving people. And when I was first introduced to this business, I didn't like what I thought that it was. But when I saw what it really was, and all we're doing is literally serving and helping put people in a better position, I thought, what is more noble that we could do than what we're doing? Mm-hmm. And so for people that really want to make a difference, people that really want to go out there and serve families, if you're teachable and you're willing to work, you can literally set yourself up to one, make any kind of income that you want to make, but more importantly, you can control your time, your schedule. If my girls are they go through a homeschool co-op, so they're taught at home 2 days a week, and then they go to school 3 days a week. If we want to travel, the school's great with us picking up and traveling. Like, who all gets to do that? Maybe when they learn Spanish, maybe we'll go spend a month in Mexico or something like that, and just immerse ourselves in the culture there. But no, the insurance industry, it's the best industry in the world for if you're hungry and you're willing to work and you want to go make something of yourself. One of the speakers that we're going to see here in the next couple of days is Coach Michael Burt. Mm-hmm. He wrote a book called Flip the Switch. In that book, he talks about there's always two versions of us, the version that we are and the version that we're capable of becoming. Yeah. This business for me, it's allowing me to work on becoming the version of me that I'm capable of becoming. Yeah. That's what this business is, and it's what it does. It's a personal growth program with a highly paid compensation package attached to it. Life is hard. Business is hard. We got to choose our hard. We can either do the 9 to 5 and hang out with our friends and family at nights and weekends, and then live and then run out a month at the end of our money when we're living on Social Security, or we can really buckle down.
Run out of money before the end of the month.
That's right. We can run out of money before we run out of the month. Or we can buckle down and we can put in the work now so that we can live the way we want to later. Mm-hmm. And we just came off of the 4th of July. Memorial Day wasn't that long ago, and we live in the greatest country in the world. So why wouldn't we go out there and, one, fight to become the best version of ourselves, and two, be in an industry where we can literally make a difference in people's lives every day, a real eternal difference for people. Yeah. It's pretty incredible.
So people like Nishaya, people like David, and so many others that were in that room, I know we could list a whole bunch of names. Like when you see them breaking through and having these breakthroughs on the phone, and a lot of them are coming from other industries. A lot of them are working 2 jobs, trying to figure out their way forward. A lot of them want to get started in life, but they don't have enough money from job 1, so they got job 2, like Nishaya, and just doubling down, just trying to figure out how to make it. There's so many people out there like that. There's some people that are stuck in a job or a career they don't love. Some people have a spouse and that spouse wants to contribute, but because of the family, they want to have the flexibility of staying home. And most companies want you to work full time, and it's hard to find that. And so there's just so many opportunities here where we can walk people into a system, teach them how to communicate properly through a structured framework. And I saw you do that, literally person after person that came into that workshop. And it's cool to see people get the first breakthrough. And when we started that boot camp with you, we asked people why they wanted to be there. The reason why we start there is because these are the same questions we ask our clients.
That's right.
About why they want to do this thing that they inquired about, why they could possibly want a life insurance policy. Why is that important to them? Who is that person? How's it going to affect their life? If they didn't have it, how does that make you feel? Is that what you want for them? I can tell that's important to you, isn't it? So the reason why we start out with this, with agents in the room, is because communication and persuasion and influence is no different in either of those. It's still what? Establishing a sense of belief, like we can help you get there. Earning their trust by asking good questions to find out why it's important to them. So if you're a new agent today, I want to know why it's important to you that you actually want to do something different. Is this just something you're going to kick the tires with, or do you want to actually change your life? And then I'm going to establish some authority because I've done this before. And we're going to show you this proven system. And we're going to talk about what's at stake. If you don't change your life now, when? If you don't take steps to be uncomfortable for a little while now to make some significant change in your life, when? And man, Mike, I love what you're doing. You're offering the opportunity for these people to come into business with you. Are there limitations anywhere in the country?
No.
Why not?
Well,
Why not?
I mean, we don't really work well in New York, but anywhere else in the country, New York doesn't like to play well with others in the sandbox. But
in the insurance world.
Yeah, in the insurance world. But here's the great thing about this industry, man. With COVID now, the entire country's our backyard.
What does that mean with COVID? COVID created an opportunity.
Well, that's right. It sped the time frame up in our industry by about 10 years. So up until COVID, we had to go see people face to face. So I'd either jump on an airplane or drive hours if I didn't have enough people right there in my local area. Yeah. But now I can hire someone in my little town, and they can be helping someone in Florida or California or Arizona. It really doesn't matter. And whether it's a stay-at-home mom or a single mom or somebody working a part-time job because they're trying to eliminate their debt or pay for a vacation, they could, as long as they've got phone service and internet, they could be serving families and making a difference anywhere.
Yeah, I saw people, and you and others on your team that you invited in there. Actually, some of them were making calls in Florida, others were making calls in California.
And what a neat dynamic to get 20 plus people in one room, all in the, with the energy and on headsets and talking at the same time and showing them the structure and what the work is actually going to look like. And I think people had they had an awakening on what the work ethic would look like to successly, to make it here in this business.
Yeah.
What it was going to look like for that.
But also to see what the results can look like.
That's right.
Because you got a young man, 25 years old, put up $6,000. Like his net on that is going to be over $4,000 for the week.
Yeah, we helped 42 people in those 2 days.
42 families, man.
42 families.
And you're helping the Shia
and
help
most
his
of them
family.
are brand new and have never done it before.
Yeah.
Imagine when they get some experience under their belt and they've been doing this for a couple of weeks or a couple of months.
Mike, how do people contact you, man? How do they find out more about what you're doing? And I believe you've got another one scheduled. You got one coming up in October, right?
Yeah, we're going to do another one in October, and then next year we're going to do them. We're going to do them monthly. So they can go to trustworthy.life/get started. That'd be a good way to reach out. There's some videos and stuff. You can reach out to our team there too.
And you're on social? Where are you on social?
Right,
What's your social profiles?
Oh man, let's see here. Facebook is I think it's under Michael A. Hall. Instagram is MA Hall 79.
Michael A. Hall 79. MA Hall 79.
MA Hall 79 on Instagram. And Michael A. Hall on Facebook.
And they can go to Trustworthy. Let's give that one more time.
Trustworthy.life/get started.
Cool, man. Yeah. Mike, from former Marine, firefighter, now life changer in the insurance business. It's been an honor, man, to be your friend all these years. I love what you're doing. I can't wait to watch the progression. Can't wait to hear of more success stories like David and the Shia. And guys, if you have an interest in finding a little bit more out about how that process works or how you can plug into that system regardless of where you are in the country. Particularly also if you're in the Indianapolis, Ohio area, in that region. I mean, he's right there smack dab in the middle of it. So it's been an honor to have you on the podcast, man. Looking forward to seeing where you go.
Man, it's been a long time coming. Thanks for having me. It's, you know what? It's a small world. It's been, what a great ride it's been. Yeah. So I appreciate your friendship over the years, and it's great to be reconnected with you, and appreciate all your help and your time.
Yeah. Hope you guys learned a few things today. Another principled influencer right here, a principled influencer doing things the right way for the right reason, helping people that help families protect the things that they love the most. Thanks for watching this episode, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Life Insurance Academy podcast.